Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about Puerto Rican culture and more notably the food traditions. I personally think that these traditions reflect the island's rich culture and history. From plantains to lechon, Puerto Rican food is more than just something to eat. It's a celebration of heritage, family, and community. For me, it's also personal because at every family gathering I've had, my grandma always cooks panil, which is a slow roasted pork shoulder. And the smell alone fills the whole house with warmth and excitement. Those moments remind me that food is not just about flavor, it's also about belonging in your culture. Food is celebrated differently all around the world, but traditional dishes often carry the history and values of a culture. In Puerto Rican culture, food plays a very important role. Dishes like plantains, mofongo, lechon, and arroz con gandules highlights the island's culture from African, Spanish, and Taino influences. But more importantly, they bring people together, and that's where I see most of my culture come alive. I feel connected to this topic not only because I'm a Puerto Rican, but because these dishes are woven into my life. Every time I eat them, I feel closer to my roots, as if I'm taking part in something much bigger than myself. Today, I'll explain the importance of plantains and pork in Puerto Rican dishes, and also show how these foods represent both cultural heritage and my own sense of identity. I want to start off with plantains because plantains are a staple of Puerto Rican cuisine, and it reflects the island's African heritage. They first arrived in Puerto Rico from Africa during the 16th century and quickly became an essential part of the diet. African slaves introduced cooking techniques like mashing, grating, and deep frying, which we still see today, and dishes like mofongo. Even the Taino traditions live on because plantain leaves are still used for cooking in dishes like pasteles. Plantains are also incredibly versatile. They can be fried twice to make tostones, but personally, I love mofongo, which is a mashed plantain mixed with garlic and usually pork or seafood. It's a dish that represents more than just a taste. It represents blending cultures, mixing African, Spanish, and Taino influence into something uniquely Puerto Rican. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is pork. Pork is a centerpiece of Puerto Rican cuisine, and it reflects the influence of Spanish colonization. The Spanish introduced a love for pork, and it quickly became a staple of feasts and celebrations. Even today, most Puerto Ricans consider lechon as a Puerto Rican national dish. But for me, pork really just means family. Like I mentioned earlier, my grandma always makes panil for big family gatherings. Watching her carefully season it, slow roast it, and then serve it to everyone is one of the ways I've learned about my culture. When my family sits down to eat together, it's not just about food, it's about tradition, about love, about passing culture down through generations. Even as Puerto Rican foods adapt to modern times, like when preserved meats such as spam and corned beef became popular, traditional dishes like arroz con gandules still connect us to our roots. For me, eating these foods is a way to feel grounded in my identity and proud of where I come from. In my conclusion, I want to say that Puerto Rican food and the culture is shaped by African, Spanish, and Taino influences, and is proudly represented in iconic dishes like mofongo, lechon, and panil. But beyond history, these foods are a source of connection. They remind me of family gatherings, of my grandma's cooking, and the joy of feeling a part of something larger than myself. Every bite of Puerto Rican food tells a story of heritage and celebration, reminding me that food is not just food, it's a living tradition that keeps culture alive within me.